Record. Okay, awesome. Give me 1 second. This is my load card, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and start now. So, with the world as it is right now, regardless of your political stance, I believe that it is pertinent that we all realize that there's a problem, and not some sort of tiny problem either. One so problematic, so systemic, and deeply rooted in our nation's history that it is tearing at the very fabric that binds us as Americans. And while we have made great progress in recent years towards providing racial equality, we are far from where we should be. And while there's a slew of problems to be addressed, I am here today to talk to you about one in particular, that being redlining. And more specifically, the effect that redlining has had on our school systems. And so it is our responsibility as Americans to fix this issue by diverting property taxes to be spread evenly among schools. Today, I hope to walk you through what redlining is, what it has done to our schools, what it will do to our future, and convince you to talk with your friends, family, and politicians, at least in part, about the solution or about this solution to it. Now, there's no way for me to talk in any serious capacity about how to fix redlining if you don't even know what it is. Redlining, by Webster Dictionary, is a discriminatory practice in which banks, insurance companies, mortgage companies, limit loans within specific geographic areas, especially inner city neighborhoods. To put this in an easier to swallow form, essentially, local officials, banks, and large institutions designed to appropriate money would select areas that were predominantly minorities and refuse them money to build their communities, whether that be businesses or homes, inevitably meaning these communities wouldn't build up and wouldn't get any more prosperous. The following information is sourced from Tracy Jan in her 2019 article, Redlining Was Banned 50 Years Ago, and It's Still Hurting Minorities Today, for the Washington Post. This can be seen on maps that exist in city halls to this day. You can actually go to many local city halls and request these maps, and they will be given. You can see like older ones, areas that were redlined out. And decidedly said that they would not get this amount of money, or they were low investment areas. And the practice of redlining has had massive long-term effects on these communities. Now that you at least have some knowledge on what redlining is, I think it's time to move on to what it has done to our schools. It cannot be understated how important schools are to producing the future of small communities, and how detrimental a poor education can be to communities affected by redlining. The following is from Arianda Skiba, who works for the Texas School and Safety Center, in his 2016 article, Thinking About the School-to-Prison Pipeline. The school-to-prison pipeline is a haunting example of the effects of redlining, and what it has caused, a haunting example of redlining, and is caused in large part by communities that are not able to properly fund their schools because they are low-income areas. And most schools are funded by local property tax. And local property tax is lower in these areas, meaning that the schools aren't able to educate their students well, which makes it harder for these students to get higher education or even advance their careers, essentially trapping them in their hometowns that are already not terribly financially stable. And so many have to resort to gangs or crime to profit. And on top of this, it is often encouraged inside these schools themselves to do these things. We have created a financial form of segregation in areas rather than laws. We have put price tags on entering wealthy communities and made roadblocks that are inescapable by those not gifted the luck of fate. This cannot be understated this cannot stand in a modern America. If we really want to claim racial inequality, this injustice must be fixed. So now that you know what's caused all this, I think it's time to address how we fix it. Schools for years have been funded by state, federal, and local property taxes in most areas in the US. So the next logical step is to evenly distribute the funding among schools. Now, the next part is from Corey Turner's 2016 article, Why America's Schools Have a Money Problem, for the NPR. Only around 10% of all school funding is actually from the federal government, with 45% being local and 45% being federal. Or I'm sorry, being from the state. With so much of schools being funded locally, it means that we have created a direct link between a school's funding and the financial success of the area around it. The best solution to this issue is diverting local funding to a larger state pool and distributing it amongst schools based on a by needs basis or by size. This will allow public schools to truly receive equitable funding and encourage growth in these areas, and allow people to leave and come back with new ideas and a better education to overall help these communities. Now, given all that I've stated, I think it's important that we rewind a bit and make sure that everything I have stated stays with you. For years, the practice of redlining has been a stain on American society, and it is our duty as civilians living in this country to help wash away and ease the pains of the past. While not the solution to everything we have done, it is a step in the right direction in helping ease the financial strain that we have caused on schools for years due to this practice. And the best way to do this is by taking and diverting these local funds to a larger state pool and distribute it on a by needs basis, so that these children in these communities can pursue higher education or more advanced careers and bring back their knowledge and expertise to these damaged communities. Thank you for listening today. I hope you all have a wonderful day.